a vocalist who fled an 83% UK tax to compound her millions in a tax-free fortress. A Nigerian oil billionaire who chartered Aristotle Onassis's legendary mega-yacht just to celebrate a birthday. And the richest man in Africa, with a $19 billion refinery on his books. Yeah, these are the 6 richest black families operating inside Monaco. Black status had to dig through private banking corridors and superyacht logs to find them. From historic Bond singers shielding their royalties all the way up to industrial emperors manufacturing the concrete the developing world is built on, every one of these dynasties owns a piece of the most heavily fortified 2-square-kilometer fiscal fortress on Earth. Starting at number 6 with a story so calculated, it turned a punishing tax bill into a generational fortune. Number 6. The Bassey family. Long before tech billionaires and venture capitalists figured out the Riviera, Dame Shirley Bassey executed one of the most brilliant wealth preservation strategies in entertainment history. The globally renowned vocalist, famous for recording the iconic themes for 3 James Bond films, did not just possess a generational voice. She possessed a razor-sharp understanding of macroeconomic policy and capital defense. In the late 1960s and 1970s, the United Kingdom instituted a notoriously aggressive taxation regime. The top marginal tax rate on investment and earned income skyrocketed to an astonishing 83%, effectively penalizing high-earning individuals and stripping them of their accumulated wealth. Recognizing that her intellectual property and touring revenues were being systematically devoured by the state, the Bassey family executed a permanent relocation to the Principality of Monaco. This was not merely a lifestyle choice, it was a highly calculated financial maneuver to secure the legal status of a Monegasque resident, instantly shielding her vast global royalties from British taxation. Monaco's famous 0% personal income tax policy allowed Bassey to compound her wealth exponentially over the following decades. Instead of losing the majority of her earnings, she redirected her liquid capital into premium, blue-chip assets. The Bassey family amassed a formidable real estate portfolio within the microstate, securing property in a jurisdiction where the price per square meter routinely exceeds $5,000, making it the most expensive real estate market on the planet. By owning physical property in Monte Carlo, she anchored her wealth in an asset class that has historically defied global recessions and market volatility. Furthermore, the Bassey family utilized their preserved capital to build one of the most staggering private jewelry collections in Europe. In the realm of ultra-wealth, high-end diamonds and bespoke Cartier pieces do not just serve as fashion accessories, they function as a highly mobile, appreciating alternative asset class. When a selection of her collection was eventually brought to auction at Christie's and Sotheby's, it generated millions of dollars, proving that her aesthetic choices were backed by ironclad investment logic. Dame Shirley Bassey established the ultimate blueprint for cultural royalty operating within a tax haven. She leveraged her global fame to secure proximity to the Monegasque royal family, famously performing for Prince Albert and embedding herself in the absolute highest tier of Mediterranean society. She proves that true longevity in the entertainment sector requires the foresight to protect your masters, guard your royalties, and strategically place your physical self in a jurisdiction that rewards your success rather than penalizing it. But while the Bassey family represents historical preservation, our next titan represents the aggressive influx of modern petrodollars into the Riviera. Number 5. The Otedola family. In the modern geopolitical economy, the flow of capital is borderless. The Otedola family perfectly exemplifies the staggering velocity of African industrial wealth seamlessly integrating into the ultra-exclusive European luxury ecosystem. Femi Otedola, one of Nigeria's most formidable billionaires, initially constructed a terrifyingly vast fortune in the brutal, fiercely monopolistic downstream petroleum sector with his company, Fort Oil. However, the true mark of his financial genius was recognizing when to pivot. He executed a masterful divestment from the volatile fuel distribution market to acquire a controlling stake in Geregu Power plc, essentially monopolizing the electrical generation infrastructure for millions. When an industrial magnate secures a utility monopoly, the resulting cash flow is both astronomical and highly predictable. Otedola channels this massive liquidity directly into the Mediterranean basin, transforming the Principality of Monaco into his family's personal summer headquarters. The Otedola family does not simply visit the French Riviera. They dominate it through the deployment of sovereign-level capital. During the Monaco Grand Prix and the peak summer yachting season, the family routinely bypasses standard luxury accommodations to charter historically significant superyachts. In a widely publicized display of absolute financial dominance, Femi Otedola famously chartered the Christina O, the legendary mega-yacht formerly owned by billionaire Aristotle Onassis, to celebrate a milestone birthday, docking it prominently in the waters surrounding Monaco. Chartering a vessel of this magnitude costs millions of dollars per week, but in the stratosphere of billionaire economics, this expenditure is not viewed as a loss. It is a strategic signaling mechanism. Anchoring a 325-foot superyacht off the coast of Monte Carlo projects immediate, undeniable institutional power to the European banking elite, global investors, and international political figures who congregate in the microstate. Beyond the patriarch's industrial empire, the Otedola family is actively transferring their wealth into global lifestyle and media equity. His daughters, including the internationally recognized DJ Cuppy and actress Temi Otedola, leverage their family's massive capital backing to build independent brands that bridge the gap between African culture and European high society. They navigate the exclusive galas, high-end boutiques, and private clubs of Monaco not as tourists, but as recognized fixtures of the global elite. The Otedola family's presence in Monaco illustrates a critical shift in global wealth dynamics. They are part of a new vanguard of African billionaires who extract massive revenues from emerging market monopolies and deploy that capital in the safest, most exclusive financial safe havens on Earth. They utilize Monaco precisely for what it was designed to be: a sun-drenched, heavily fortified playground where the masters of global industry can quietly network, protect their assets, and experience the absolute zenith of material luxury. Yet, as powerful as industrial energy wealth may be, it is rivaled only by the towering leverage of American private equity. Number 4. The Johnson family. When Earvin "Magic" Johnson retired from professional basketball, the sports media assumed he would quietly fade into the background as a wealthy, well-compensated brand ambassador. Instead, he engineered one of the most lethal, multi-billion-dollar corporate transformations in modern American history. As the chairman and CEO of Magic Johnson Enterprises, he built a staggering fortune with an estimated net worth exceeding $1.2 billion. But while his capital is generated in the boardrooms of Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., his family's ultimate theater of power is the Principality of Monaco. To understand the Johnson family's wealth architecture, you must look at their underlying equity. Johnson is not a passive investor. He is an institutional sovereign. He holds a controlling stake in Equitrust Life Insurance Company, a massive financial behemoth managing over $26 billion in assets. He is a part owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Los Angeles Sparks, and most recently joined the elite ownership group of the NFL's Washington Commanders in a landscape-altering $6.05 billion acquisition. When you command a portfolio of this magnitude, your leisure time must also function as a corporate asset. Every summer, the Johnson family essentially annexes Port Hercules in Monaco. They famously charter ultra-luxury superyachts, such as the massive Aquila or the Phoenix II, at costs approaching or exceeding $1 million per week. For a month at a time, this floating palace navigates the French and Italian Rivieras, but Monaco always serves as the central anchor. Why does a billionaire deploy this level of capital for a vacation? Because in the realm of ultra-wealth, a superyacht docked in Monaco is not a boat. It is a highly secure, mobile boardroom heavily shielded from corporate espionage, press scrutiny, and regulatory oversight. The Johnson family utilizes this Mediterranean stronghold to host a rotating roster of fellow billionaires, Hollywood elites, and Fortune 500 CEOs. Deals are pitched, partnerships are forged, and alliances are cemented on the aft deck of these vessels, overlooking the pristine Monaco skyline. Samuel L. Jackson, LL Cool J, and various private equity titans are frequent guests, effectively transforming the yacht into a private economic summit. Magic and Cookie Johnson have leveraged their extreme financial success to conquer the most exclusive social ecosystem on the planet. They traverse the streets of Monte Carlo, accompanied by an entourage that rivals heads of state, pumping millions into the local high-end retail and hospitality sectors. The Johnson family proves that true billionaire status is achieved when you can seamlessly convert a massive insurance and sports franchise portfolio into the ultimate currency: the absolute freedom to command the world's most expensive real estate, even if it floats. While the Johnson family rules the harbor, our next titan dominates the incredibly lucrative asphalt of the principality itself. Number 3. The Hamilton family. In the ultra-competitive, globally televised spectacle of Formula One racing, the Principality of Monaco is the undisputed crown jewel. It is a circuit that demands absolute precision, ruthless aggression, and zero margin for error. Nobody in the history of the sport has mastered this environment quite like Sir Lewis Hamilton. But Hamilton's dominance extends far beyond the racing line. He has methodically built a staggering financial fortress that makes him one of the wealthiest and most powerful black athletes in global history. Crucially, the command center for this multi-hundred-million-dollar empire is his official residency in Monaco. With a net worth estimated well beyond $300 million, Hamilton's wealth generation is a masterclass in leveraging athletic supremacy into corporate equity. His historic contracts with Mercedes-AMG Petronas guaranteed him an estimated $50 million annually in base salary alone, completely exclusive of performance bonuses and global endorsement deals. Furthermore, his recent landscape-shifting announcement to join Scuderia Ferrari in 2025 is projected to be one of the most lucrative driver contracts ever executed. When an individual earns this level of sustained, 8-figure liquid capital, mitigating tax liabilities becomes the single most important component of wealth preservation. By establishing his primary residence in the Fontvieille district of Monaco, a highly exclusive area literally reclaimed from the Mediterranean Sea, Hamilton perfectly shields his staggering income from the punishing tax regimes of the United Kingdom and the European Union. Monaco's 0% income tax, 0% capital gains tax, and lack of a wealth tax mean that every single dollar Hamilton earns from his global pursuits remains within his family's private portfolio. This fiscal fortification allows him to aggressively deploy his capital into massive venture capital and private equity plays. Hamilton is not just a driver, he is a corporate magnate. He launched the X44 racing team, acquired a highly strategic ownership stake in the NFL's Denver Broncos, partnering with fellow black billionaire Mellody Hobson, and founded Neatburger, a rapidly expanding plant-based fast food chain that recently secured aggressive global funding. He also dictates global fashion through his multi-million-dollar collaborative lines with Tommy Hilfiger, proving that he owns his aesthetic intellectual property. Living in Monaco grants Hamilton unparalleled access to the shadowy network of European venture capitalists, sovereign wealth fund directors, and luxury conglomerate CEOs who also reside in the 2-square-kilometer tax haven. He navigates the principality in bespoke, multi-million-dollar hypercars, enjoying a level of localized privacy and security that is impossible to replicate in London or Los Angeles. The Hamilton family represents the absolute pinnacle of individual athletic wealth, a dynasty built on speed, shielded by the ultimate tax haven, and aggressively expanding into international franchise ownership. Yet, as powerful as global sports equity can be, it is rivaled by the silent, invisible infrastructure of the digital age. Number 2. The Masiyiwa family. To comprehend the wealth of the Masiyiwa family, one must look beyond consumer products and athletic endorsements and focus entirely on the subterranean architecture of the modern world. Strive Masiyiwa, a Zimbabwean-born telecommunications visionary, and his wife Tsitsi operate an empire so structurally critical that entire nations depend on their assets to function. Masiyiwa became the first black billionaire to break into the elite echelons of the Sunday Times Rich List, commanding a family fortune widely estimated at over $2 billion. While their philanthropic and business headquarters heavily intersect with London, the Masiyiwa family's wealth management and elite networking strategies flow directly through the secure, private banking corridors of Monaco and the broader European financial elite. The foundation of this staggering wealth was laid in the brutal, high-stakes trenches of constitutional law and state-sponsored monopolies. In the 1990s, Masiyiwa fought the government of Zimbabwe in a grueling, 5-year Supreme Court battle simply to secure the legal right to operate a private mobile network. He did not just win a lawsuit, he forced the liberalization of the African digital economy. He founded Econet Wireless, which subsequently exploded into a global telecommunications behemoth. However, his true masterpiece of financial engineering is Liquid Intelligent Technologies. Masiyiwa's holding company laid the largest independent fiber optic network across the entire African continent. He essentially owns the digital highways of the emerging world. When global tech monopolies require bandwidth or cloud infrastructure in Africa, they must inevitably negotiate with Masiyiwa's corporation. This level of infrastructural dominance produces an unbreakable, recurring revenue stream that is virtually immune to standard market recessions. To protect and manage a multi-billion-dollar fortune of this magnitude, ultra-high net worth families utilize sophisticated European family offices. The Masiyiwa family leverages the elite financial infrastructure of jurisdictions like Monaco, Switzerland, and London to execute complex wealth preservation trusts, mitigate geopolitical risk, and orchestrate global philanthropy. Strive's influence is universally respected. He serves on the highly exclusive board of directors for Netflix and acts as a senior trustee for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Meanwhile, Tsitsi Masiyiwa commands the Higher Life Foundation, an immense philanthropic war chest that operates with the logistical precision of a military supply chain. Operating globally from their European bases, her foundation has systematically paid the school fees for over 250,000 marginalized children, engineering a massive, continent-wide talent pipeline. The Masiyiwa family proves that true sovereign wealth is not about flashy displays of luxury. It is about quietly owning the fiber optic cables that power the future and utilizing the elite financial sanctuaries of Europe to ensure that power remains fully intact for generations. Number 1. The Dangote family. We have arrived at the absolute apex of the wealth pyramid, a level of financial dominance so vast and structural that it rivals the GDP of entire sovereign nations. Aliko Dangote is the undisputed richest man on the African continent, with a personal net worth that frequently fluctuates between $13 billion and $15 billion. As the founder, chairman, and CEO of the Dangote Group, his family has engineered an industrial conglomerate that fundamentally dictates the physical growth of the developing world. While his empire is deeply anchored in Nigeria, the Dangote family's wealth management, asset protection, and elite lifestyle are intimately woven into the billionaire ecosystem of Monaco and the French Riviera. The Dangote family wealth is not built on speculative tech valuations or volatile consumer trends. It is forged in heavy, unyielding hard commodities. The crown jewel of the empire, Dangote Cement, is the largest cement producer in sub-Saharan Africa. In a continent experiencing the most rapid urbanization and infrastructural expansion in human history, controlling the supply of concrete is the ultimate economic chokehold. He doesn't just supply the materials, he owns the massive limestone quarries, the dedicated deepwater shipping ports, and the massive logistics fleets required to move the product. His most recent and terrifyingly ambitious project is the Dangote Refinery, a staggering $19 billion mega-facility designed to be the largest single-train refinery in the world. When you execute industrial projects of this magnitude, you must operate on a global financial stage. The Dangote family utilizes the elite banking institutions, private wealth managers, and exclusive legal frameworks found in European safe havens like Monaco and Geneva to manage currency risks, orchestrate massive international debt financing, and shield their liquid capital from regional inflation. When the Dangote family engages in leisure, it is executed with the exact same scale as their industrial projects. Aliko Dangote famously traverses the Mediterranean on bespoke luxury superyachts, such as the Maria, a massive floating palace designed for absolute privacy and supreme comfort. Docking in the pristine waters of Monaco, the Dangote family shares the exact same playground as European royalty, Russian oligarchs, and American private equity titans. The Dangote family reigns at number 1 because they represent the absolute ultimate evolution of black economic power, They are not asking for a seat at the global table. They are manufacturing the concrete that the table sits on. By leveraging their unparalleled industrial monopolies, they have amassed a 14-figure fortune that allows them to seamlessly float between the heavy manufacturing zones of Lagos and the ultra-exclusive tax-free harbors of Monte Carlo. They are the undisputed industrial emperors of the global elite. From laying claim to the absolute most expensive real estate on the planet to deploying multi-million-dollar floating boardrooms across the Mediterranean, these six families have completely redefined the global wealth narrative. They did not wait for permission to enter the most exclusive, heavily guarded fiscal sanctuary on Earth. They simply acquired the infrastructure and dictated their own terms. Monaco is no longer just a playground for old European money. It is a fortress for Black economic sovereignty. Which of these staggering financial empires surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. For more cinematic deep dives into the hidden geography of elite wealth, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Black Status.